Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on how you can use advanced analytics to monitor and manage your applications at scale. We're going to be talking with Grindr to see how they have managed their explosive growth over the last 2 years using custom analytics SDKs and other infrastructure techniques that have been battle tested by some of the world's best companies. I'm Paul Lacey, Head of Product Marketing here at Treasure Data. And I'm joined this morning by Lukas Sliwka, the CTO of Grindr, who has been managing this team from a team of 4 engineers all the way to where they are today with over 1.8 million API calls per minute. This morning, we're going to talk about the Grindr application and the functions that they serve. We're going to talk about Grindr Labs and the journey that they've had growing to this scale. We're going to talk about challenges that they've seen with massive user adoption and how they've managed a decentralized network around the entire world and how analytics fits into that. So some of the challenges that they've seen as they've scaled, how they've solved that, and we'll talk about the role that Treasure Data has played in that solution. So with that, Lukas, please take it away.
Excellent. Thank you very much for this great introduction. And just to kind of recap for everyone on the call, Grindr is the first and largest gay dating network in the world. We use mobile technology and geolocation technologies to essentially figure out a use case of how to connect people within the vicinity of each other. And we do that very well. Essentially, our application solves a use case of showing online users who are within the vicinity of one another, and essentially we enable through our technology for them to connect and chat. And the company has been around since 2009. We have gone through very explosive growth since then. I wouldn't consider ourselves a startup per se, but we definitely operate as like a startup. When I started 2.5 years ago, there were only around 4 engineers doing this, and since then we've actually focused on growing our engineering practice and investing into a new stack. We are now at around 50 people, geographically distributed around the world, with a lot of development going on in Argentina and Europe, and our headquarters here in Los Angeles. So let's talk about some of the challenges that we're facing. I already mentioned that we're a global company, but also our user base is global. We have user presence in over 196 countries in the world, and that translates into a pretty healthy traffic. So at any time on our platform, you can actually see over 1 million users. All that generates around 900 million API calls per day. That is roughly around 10 to 20,000 calls per second that we see on our gateway. There's also very good chat traffic. We process on average 1,200 to 2,000 chat messages per second, and that amounts to around 85 million per day. When it comes to scaling our geospatial cluster, the geospatial operations needed to be scaled to support around 10,000 geospatial operations per second. Grindr Labs is our engineering side of the company that is powering iOS and Android clients. We actually transitioned our technology stack to non-blocking IO ACA framework that then utilizes business components written in Java, and we kind of transitioned from Ruby on Rails last year. So when you look at our, tech stack trajectory, we kind of follow very closely what Twitter went through. The first iteration of Grindr was on PHP, same like Twitter. Then we moved on to Ruby on Rails, and then once we saw that Ruby on Rails has reached its potential, we transitioned onto Scala and Java. So now we're in a very good place to kind of evolve and be able to sustain this traffic. But one of the things that I want to talk about also is, how can I